Welcome to Ron Johnson Aquatics and Wellbeing. My name is Ron Johnson. If you're into fish, you're into positivity, then this channel is for you. Welcome back to the channel. Of course, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about three things: feed types, feed rates, and growth rates, because I got some big fish behind me, and hey, Goliath Arapima's right here. So have you ever noticed or wondered why some floating pellets kind of float, why some wafers sink, and why carnivore pellets sink? Let me tell you why, so to help educate you. So if you don't know, now you know. This is called extruding pellets, so that's why they float, okay? The reason why pellets or wafers sink is because they are pressurized. And why this masculine over a pellet sinks is because it's pressurized. Now, the reason why this actually happens is because feed columns. So some people feed up top, middle column, and you got bottom column, right? So if you're a catfish usually feeding bottom, so you got the sinky pellets. Wafers are really good for obviously those plecos out there, other feed types. I do feed my catfish wafers, and I do feed my arapimas, and I do feed my stingrays actually wafers. They do enjoy it because it's a different feed type. More or less, this is going to be like greens, let's say. This is going to be a lot of protein. So these two types, which is floating and sinking, have a lot of protein. So floating type pellets are good for the ones that are actually up top. So you always got the top, the middle, and low feeding, obviously, columns and fish. Now, let's talk about growth rates. Now, if you guys are familiar with the arapima, which is right down here, they grow extremely fast. Now, when I first got him, he was about this size, and now he's about this size. He's gonna move to my pond pretty soon, but I fed him a lot more often. So what we don't need to understand is that when a fish is usually small, let's say a small shrimp, you got small discus fish, or baby small fish, it's really important to feed them more frequently. Frequently looks like maybe twice a day, maybe in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, or even the evening. It's 3 times a day, or in the morning and in the evening. Now, most of the time, if it's a non-closed environment, right, it's oxidation in the water. Because it's a closed environment, there's no oxidation in the water. So it's not about warming the water up like you see in outside aquariums. This one's enclosed with a heater, so you don't worry about all that. So feeding them all types of day, it really does not matter. So some people say in the morning or in the evening, it kind of really does not matter. They will eat regardless or not eat at all. Now, if you got small fish, again, you got to feed more frequently. Now, as Goliath Arapima and other fish, oh, you almost attacked there. If you got other fish, I usually feed my fish now with this kind of fish is every other day. So I used to one day feed them often, every day, twice a day, but I feed them not every other day. And the reason being is that now they're more or less not in that small baby phase, but more in a juvenile stage of fish. So I don't need to feed them frequently or that frequently. Now, when it comes to my stingrays, because they do move a lot, they do move around, and they have really fast metabolisms. That's one thing you know about your fish is the metabolism. I feed at least twice a day. So I want them to grow big and obviously eventually breed, but they get fed twice a day. I do a combination of shrimp in the morning. I do a combination of tilapia in the evening. That's how I feed my fish. And every now and then I throw some bloodworms in there, but high protein for your stingrays. But now let's talk about growth rates, right? We talked about obviously feeding, but growth rates. Now, before you even select a fish, you have to realize the growth rate. Arapima, the guy right here, they grow extremely fast. So he was about this 6 months ago. Now he's about like this size. So for him, he's growing really, really fast. So with that being said, is you got to feed him more frequently. But in this case, I don't, because obviously I don't need to, because now he's about this size. Now let's discuss the reason why I don't feed these fish every day or twice a day is because obviously the more waste in the system itself, the more it's going to have harm for the fish. So I feed them once every other day, but I do a larger portion of food, which they can finish in about 10 minutes. Most oftentimes, in about 1 minute, all the food is gone, and they feed a little extra food. But if your food is gone in that amount of time, it means you're not feeding them enough. So oftentimes, it's really consider about this. If whatever a fish can finish in, let's say 10 minutes or less, or 5 minutes or less, is actually the right food they need to have. If food kind of lingers at the bottom of the tank, or food itself, you can't actually they don't eat or they spit out, that means that you're overfeeding them and they already are fed. So, or you talk about growth rates, obviously the bigger they are, the more they're going to eat, which is every other day. Critical for your fish that you feed them really frequently or understand their growth rates. So today we talked about what? Bulling pellets, wafers, sticky pellets, why that happens. We talked about, obviously, feeding columns. We talked about growth rates and frequency. So if you guys haven't subscribe right now so you get more ideas on how to feed your fish and quality of fish. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening.